Alrighty, so we have Ilir Latifi versus Tanner Boser. So Tanner Boser has a 4-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage. Usually Latifi is going to be giving up the size at heavyweight. Usually it's bigger than this. Tanner Boser isn't the biggest heavyweight either, but he's still bigger than Latifi. Latifi's last win, I think, was about 3.5 years ago. He's got 3 losses in a row. He's probably getting cut or retiring if he loses here. Like he's getting up there in age, and Tanner Boser, he's nearly 10 years younger than him, and it is a young man's sport. I know at heavyweight you can get a bit older without giving up too many advantages to your opponent, but it is a young man's game, and I believe that's true at heavyweight as well. And for Boser, it's pretty incredible, but 13 of his last 17 fights have gone the distance, which is crazy at heavyweight. Alright, so we'll break down the striking of these two. So Latifi's pretty flat-footed, just kind of plods around the octagon, bit of a tank, wings basically all of his punches. And for Tanner Boser, he utilises a lot of feints, a lot of movement, and he usually does have the hand speed advantage. I do think he, has the speed advantage here, absolutely. But he's not particularly powerful for heavyweight, and that's why, 13 of his last 17 have gone to the cards. But overall, I think his stand-up's pretty limited. He has a few weapons that he uses quite a bit. He'll look to feint his way in, throw the overhand right, or he'll look to switch stance and throw overhand left. That's basically the 2 punches that he throws on the feet. And Latifi's pretty much looking for the same thing. He's looking to get into the pocket and then look for 3-2s or a left hook overhand combination. And, he seems a little uncomfortable versus power strikers. I'm not saying, what's his name? Boser is a power striker, but, this is heavyweight. You're going to get a few power strikers in your bracket. Like, he seemed very uncomfortable versus Derek Lewis, constantly clinching, constantly really trying to close the distance, just hugging him pretty much. And then really uncomfortable versus Vulcan, was just constantly backing up. And yeah, he didn't really throw much in that fight, and he just got slept eventually. And he has this tendency to duck into the clinch, duck into a takedown shot pretty much every time his opponent closes distance. So that's pretty much how Lewis caught him with the uppercuts a few times. That's how Vulcan caught him. That's how Beta absolutely sent him to the shadow realm. It's just every time, and he just hasn't learnt throughout his whole career that people are getting the read on it, and it's just so predictable. Every time you try and pressure him, he'll duck. He'll duck into the clinch. Both these guys utilize the low calf kick pretty well in their game plans. I'd probably say Tanner Boser does it to a greater extent, and sticks to it as a game plan a bit more. But Latifi does have good low calf kicks. And Latifi, when you try and kick his legs or when you try and go for a body kick, he's good at catching the ankle off a low leg kick, and then looking to elevate that ankle and then look for a single leg from there. And that's, pretty obviously where Latifi wants to get the fight, just in the wrestling transitions or on the mat if possible. He does have good Greco takedowns, and if he's not finding any success with that, he will go low, he will change levels and look to get the high crotch and then, lift his opponent off the mat and hopefully get him onto the mat and control him from there. And once you get in the body lock with him, he looks for the outside leg trip. That's the one he's been looking for most frequently at heavyweight, just because I think, the balance of heavyweights isn't too great. So I think he's looking to take advantage of that. Alright, so how Latifi wins fights. So his chin does seem pretty good at heavyweight. Lewis cracked him a few times, and that guy's rocks in his hands. Look, Derek Lewis put out blades with 1 uppercut. Not even Ngannou could sleep blades. So, that was really impressive that he ate those shots from Lewis. And I think he has good takedown defense as well. I think it's 100% in the UFC. I don't think he's ever been taken down. He's faced some good wrestlers as well. How Tanner Boser wins, he's got a granite chin. He's got good footwork, good cardio. Those things kind of separate him from the rest of the heavyweights. And yeah, he definitely has the cardio advantage in this fight. So yeah, as I just hinted, I think Latifi does slow in the 3rd round. And you can maybe even accelerate that process if you put a high pace on him as well. And also, he's just frame-wise and range-wise, he's just tiny for heavyweight. And he's not particularly quick either. And he doesn't really have huge power. So, it's just I'm not sure why he went to heavyweight, honestly. And how Tanner Boser loses, when he gets taken down, he doesn't seem to be able to get back to his feet. If you watch his ACB fights, as soon as he got taken down, the fight was pretty much over, or the round was pretty much over. Past the victory for Latifi. So yeah, look to clinch often, look for the double unders, look for the Greco rows from there. Just your usual game plan, really. Look to grab one of the low leg kicks from Boser and look to turn it into a single leg. When he comes blitzing in with an overhand, look to change levels and blast to a double leg. And for Boser, the keys to success here, I think, land your combinations, keep them short though. You don't want to extend your combinations to like 4 or 5 punches because he'll just look to level change pretty much every time. Land your combinations and get back out at range. And also look to set up your low calf kicks as well. Don't just throw him naked because he is very good at catching that ankle. And look to throw jabs, straights to the body because he can't really shoot over that shot when you're going to the body. Also, I know he doesn't really throw these techniques, but look for knees, uppercuts, because that's what's caught him in the past. So they're generally the strikes that you'd throw against a fighter that level changes as frequently as Latifi. But as I said, Boser doesn't really throw those strikes. So if I was to adapt it into a Boser-like strike, I'd probably just say, step back and then fire an overhand right or an overhand left. Use your speed advantage to, see when he's about to close distance and then take a step back and then, throw the overhand right. Because I think that's going to catch him. But generally, Boser doesn't use uppercuts, knees. Alright, so how I see the fight going. So Boser could have definitely improved his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and his clinch takedown defense since his losses at ACB. Most of his losses in ACB just got out-grappled. But in the UFC, we've yet to see this. We've yet to see this improvement. No one's ever really tried to wrestle him. And in nearly 1 hour of cage time in the UFC, he's only had to defend 2 takedowns. So it doesn't give me a great sample size to base an opinion off and really see where his grappling's at, Because Latifi's definitely going to test that. He's going to be using his wrestling. He's going to be looking to level change every time Boser closes distance. So it's going to be a question of whether Boser can escape the clinch of Latifi, and if he gets taken down, can he get back to his feet? Like on the feet, Boser's much quicker and likely has more power as well. And if he can look to take advantage of those stand-up tendencies that we talked about just before, then I think it could be a quick night for Latifi. But, I'm going to stay away from this fight, stay away from betting this fight just because of the unknowns with Boser's grappling. So the prediction is Boser. I think he wins by decision. I think Latifi takes all the damage. So what bets I'm looking at is Latifi at around like $2.80 plus 180. He does have a path to victory if Boser hasn't rectified those flaws in his game. Probably has, so that's why I'm not really keen on betting this fight. So, but yeah, he did seem to have pretty serious flaws in the ground game. In the previous organization, I forgot the name of it now, ACB or whatever I called it before. But yeah, not really looking to bet the Boser money line, especially at that price. But yeah, he probably wins here.